Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. It looks like I kind of have some dropped frame rates and things going on, which is weird because the internet has otherwise been okay today. So hopefully it doesn't give me too many issues. But if it does, I'll see what I can do on my end. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the welcome back. I'm a little bit tired. It was a long travel day, but otherwise not too bad. So I'll get started in a few minutes. Let me know if you guys can hear me and if everything looks okay so far on your end, since like I said, my streaming software is reporting that it's a little bit dropping the frame rates here. So hi Metaloop, hi Don't Feed the Bears, hi AK, it's good to see all of you. Oh good, I'm glad that you guys can hear me. Let me know during the stream if anything starts to go wonky on us, and like I said, I'll see what I can do. I hope you all, it's been a little while since I've been able to come on live stream, so I hope you all have been doing well over the past few weeks. We'll get started in just a few minutes. I have the time set for noon, so I was a few minutes early at noon my time here on the East Coast, but I'll give people a couple more minutes to come wandering in. If, I know it's a little bit of a weird day for me to be streaming, so I'll see if anybody else comes and joins us. Oh, very nice. I hope you've had a good day. It's early evening where you are. I hope it's been a good day for you. Here it's just about noon, so mostly it's been a quiet morning here. Oh yay, that's gonna be awesome, AK. I'm sad that I can't go see the live viewing because the day of the live viewing is my birthday. So it's my 30th birthday, so I already have like a whole bunch of plans, and unfortunately, so I won't be able to go see it in the theaters, and I'm sad about that. But I hope you have an amazing time. I'm curious, both in the live chat here and for anybody who's watching it in future when it goes up on the channel. Let me know in the comment section. I'm curious if anybody has either seen any of Jin's concerts in person or if you guys will be seeing them in future. I'm not sure if anybody else is going, but today I'm gonna share some of my stories and some fun things. Yeah, the big 30, August 9th. I'm excited for my birthday, but I'm not super excited for 30. But it's good. I can join all of the BTS members who are either in their 30s or will be turning 30, like Tae and Jimin, because they're in the 95 line too. So we're all gonna be in good company. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're all here. It's really good to be back on live stream after a couple of weeks. Oh, awesome. Amsterdam second day. You're absolutely going to have a blast. You're going to have so much fun. And if you just joined us, I mentioned earlier that I keep getting some alerts on my streaming software that I don't have the best connection today for some reason. I don't know why. So if anything happens where you can't hear me or if anything starts cutting out, please just let me know, and I'll work on my end to fix it. Sometimes it gives me those error messages and it's fine, and then other times the one stream I did the one day was very, very spotty, and kept trying to reload and buffering on people. So just let me know. Metaloop, yeah, it's been tough trying to balance everything, all the concerts, all the army experiences. We're spread pretty thin. It was I had a savings account going that was kind of like my BTS comeback savings, and so I took a little bit of money off the top of that to go experience Jin in Dallas, but now I have to get back to saving. I have to get back to work. Alrighty, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. As usual with my live streams, a lot of the times, it's not going to be anything too crazy. Today is mostly just going to be me sharing my experience in Dallas and just kind of talking in general about BTS concerts. I haven't been to many concerts, going to see Jin day 1 and 2. So technically, if you want to say that was like my second and third concert, or if you want to look at it as concert series, I saw day 1, Permission to Dance, on stage in LA, and then I saw this concert. So technically I've only been to 2 concert series, if you count it like that. So I don't have a lot of tips. It's not like I've been doing this for a super long time or anything, but I do have like a few tips here and there that I just kind of took away from both concerts. And this definitely, I will always recommend, if you're getting ready to go to a concert or you're planning to do a concert in future, definitely watch people online who are like really skilled at doing, concert planning and things like that. When they do like those big prepping videos, definitely watch those. They're amazing. That's what I watch when I prep. But, so my tips will be a little bit more eclectic than like some of the people who do step by step. So, and this also isn't going to be like a concert vlog or anything like that, the way a lot of like content creators will make like their concert vlogs. I didn't do anything like that. This is going to be a little bit more of just kind of sharing some stories. Right? You are so right, Enthused Beast. We're all suffering and in heaven at the same time, because it's so funny. One of the shirts that I saw somebody wearing, instead of Epilogue Young Forever, it said Epilogue Broke Forever. And I'm like, yeah, that's accurate. BTS leaving us all perpetually broke, but we're having fun. We're having the time of our lives. So, alrighty. So it's like I said, it's been a while since I was able to do a live stream. I'm back. Kind of. I do have a really busy schedule over the next few weeks, which I'll get to, I'll get to talking about that a little bit more, of kind of like what my plans are. But for now, so what I've been up to, you guys have probably seen from my community posts that before I went to Dallas, I actually got the flu. So I was kind of out of commission for 2 weeks with the flu, as I was recovering with that, which is why you haven't seen like any other live streams from me, or any other videos, because I had for a week I had all the flu symptoms, and then the week after I just had a lingering cough. So I didn't want to try and do a live stream, and it would have been me coughing for 2 hours. So nobody wants that. So that's why you haven't seen me for a while between that and then prepping for the concert, going to the concert, and coming home. So I'm glad that I can be back with you guys today. Don't feed the bears. You're so right. They're making sure that we can't get into trouble. They're like, come and spend your money to see us and have a fun time. And that's all that matters. So, what's still to come from me? I do have, like I said earlier, August 9th is my birthday, so I'm going to be doing, family plans for my birthday and stuff like that. And I do have another event that I'm actually going to this weekend, which is why, even though I am a Florida person and I live in Central Florida, so I can't go to Tampa because I have plans this weekend, which is why I went to Dallas. But I'm very glad that I went to Dallas. It was a wonderful time. I had so much fun, and everybody in Dallas was just amazing. I can't recommend enough, even just going to visit the city just as a tourist, even without a concert going on, because it was just great. I went with my mom, and my mom and I both had a wonderful time. not only at the concert, but just having fun in the area. Like I said, we went to both day 1 and day 2. Day 2 was so that was Wednesday, was originally that's what I got on like Army pre-sale. So that was kind of our original goal. And then we decided to get a little bit greedy and go for the first night as well, which turned out to be a great decision, because we kind of were in a hotel in an area of the city where there wasn't much going on by the time we arrived on Tuesday. So we otherwise kind of would have just been like sitting in our hotel room, not doing much. So it was really nice to instead go to the venue and be able to see the show. So the seats that we had that first night weren't so great because we did kind of buy them as like an afterthought. They were pretty high up and kind of on the side. So not the best seats, but there's kind of an old saying that the only bad seats at a BTS concert are not going. The only bad seats are your house. So it was definitely still nice to be there, even though we were very high up. But then the second day, I'll actually show you. I didn't really take any pictures from our seats night 1, but I'll show you where we were. So the picture on the left here is the view from our seats on Wednesday. And like I said, these are the ones that I bought on the Army pre-sale. We had an amazing view of the thrust stage. We had an amazing view of the screens. This second picture, I kind of circled it here on the top of the picture. I took a picture from our seats on Wednesday of what our seats on Tuesday were, because I was just looking, and honestly, this picture doesn't even do it justice. It was really high up. So here we are in the 100 section on Wednesday, and I took a picture from the 100 section up into the 300 section, which is where we were on Tuesday. I happened to look up and see that this section was 309, where we were sitting on Tuesday, and from the ground, it definitely looked very high. So that, and we'll get to this later, but definitely one of my concert tips is if you are afraid of heights, definitely think twice about some of those upper seats, because it was a little vertigo inducing up there. But definitely we had some very nice seats the second day, and that was a lot of fun. We got a really spectacular view, and that there in the middle is the button that Jin hits to start the show. So we got a great view of that, which I'm also curious, did any of you all watch the live stream of Jin's concerts either in Korea or in Japan? Did anybody get a chance to watch those? Because the concert, pretty much the structure of the concert is very much the same. It's the same songs, same games, and everything's kind of different, and he, changes up the energy. But if you've seen the live streams of either of those concerts, you have a really good idea of what I saw at Dallas and what you'll be seeing if you go to any of his concerts in other stops. So, and plus it was just an amazing show. Pandora Gold, awesome. Yes, it definitely. Unfortunately, I wish that we could watch those again. Those are not, not something that we can watch on like delayed streaming on Weverse, which is so sad, because it was just, they were amazing concerts and so much fun to watch. And because, like I said, it shows you what to expect. So Metaloop, yeah, me too. I watched the one in Korea. Because of the time difference for the one in Japan, it wasn't super convenient. I think I would have had to be up at like 3 a.m. and I was just like, I don't think I can do that. As a night owl, I usually go to bed at around 3 a.m. So it's like I would have had no sleep at all. So I watched the one in Korea when it happened live, and then I watched it on the delayed streaming when they showed it again, so that way I could watch both days. So awesome. Don't Feed the Bears. Definitely, I think it'll be a lot of fun in the theater. You all will have to let me know what it was like seeing it in the theater, because I bet that'll be fun. It's always a fun energy when they show like BTS movies or concert streams in the theater. It's just it's almost like it turns into a mini concert. It's a lot of fun. So I did take I didn't on the first night because we were kind of high up and like I said our seats were kind of on the side. We were we could see the stage and the thrust stage, but we couldn't really see the screens. And we were a couple rows back, so it was kind of a little bit hard to see sometimes. So I didn't really take any videos or pictures the very first night. I took a few, but most of what I took comes from the second night because we had that amazing view. So most of the pictures that you're going to see throughout today are from Wednesday. These here are just a couple of random pictures that I took, some of which, I just took outside of the venue. The hotel that we stayed at Wednesday was literally right across the street from the arena. So like this second picture here, this was actually taken from the pool. Like our hotel had a pool up on the 16th floor. And it was kind of like out on this patio, and my mom and I went up to explore, and there was absolutely no one there. So we just kind of went and we were looking at the view over the side. And so this second picture is literally the view from the rooftop pool at our hotel. And so that's how close we were, which was really, really cool. Don't feed the bears. Yeah, it's interesting. So, some of the first BTS content that I saw in theaters were some of the re-release of Break the Silence and Beyond the Story is they have so many BTS acronyms now that I think I'm thinking of their book title and not the Love Yourself concert movie title, which is just escaping me right now. But I saw those two during COVID. So it was a very different experience, to kind of be there social distancing in the theater with the masks and everything. But then I also saw the theater release of their concert in Busan, and that was wild. That was like, our theater was packed. People brought their army bombs. Like, that was a whole experience to see that concert in the theater, and a lot of fun. Yeah. AK, I feel you. It's really hard to do like watching the concerts, and especially if you have to wake up at a different time for it. It's hard. Yeah, it's tough. I always like when they do the delayed streaming. So it's usually what I'll do is I'll try and get up if I can for at least one of the concerts so I can watch it live while it's happening, and then I watch it on the delayed replay because yeah, it can be intense. And hello to everybody who just joined us. I hope you're having a nice day. I hope you've been having a good few weeks. I know I've been kind of MIA for a while, so I hope you guys have been doing well in the meantime. So I also have this picture here. This is a picture of the Jin Ramen ad that they had at the Jin Ramen booth in Dallas. I didn't get any ramen at the ramen booth just because every time we were there, they really only were giving it out after the concerts, and every time we were there, it was intense. It was a lot of people. Plus, in the end, it probably worked out because they were giving people like huge cases of ramen, and we did not have any room in our suitcases. So that would have been very tough, but had to take a picture of the beautiful picture. And then I just have a couple other random pictures here. I didn't take a lot of still photos. I took a lot more videos, especially on the second day. I wanted to try and have a mix of just kind of enjoying it in the moment and also, having some videos to preserve for later. Just a couple of fun photos here, like when Jin, I don't know if you guys have seen any like pictures or videos coming out of Dallas, but at one point Jin, took over the guitar and was playing the guitar and having fun. And then just the first picture here on the left is just a picture of him there on the stage. And then that picture on the screen, I believe that was him being delighted at us singing during the singing game. And his joy there was just way too cute, so I had to take a picture of that. Hi, Sequoia. It's good to see you. Yes, I had a wonderful time. It was absolutely magical, and I have lots to share with everybody. Yeah, in Thursbeast, that's when I saw the Busan concert in theaters. Army treated it basically like just they were at a concert venue. Like literally people were like screaming when, different members came on and stuff and cheering. So it's like, it was very much like a mini concert. It was very fun. All right. So I do have just like some other random pictures for you, but I do have one, actually not one picture, but one specific type of picture that I do want to show you guys. In my very first video where I was kind of like introducing myself to everybody, I was actually going to put a picture of myself from when I was at Permission to Dance in LA. But I was still so new to the video making game that I couldn't figure out really how to do it. And to be honest, I still I very rarely put still photos in my actual videos. And when I do it through like the most janky method possible because I still have a lot to learn about like making videos and doing a lot of this stuff. So I never kind of was like intending to have it be like, ooh, my face is a secret and you're not allowed to see what I look like, because I was going to put a picture in the first video and just never figured out how to do it. So not the most exciting face reveal, but face reveal, here I am. This is me outside of the venue in the morning on day 2 and then at night day 2, taking pictures with the wonderful sign that they put up saying that, Jin was going to be there tonight. And this was a photo op as well. That picture in the middle was a photo op that they had outside of the venue. The question on the minds of both me and my mom who took the picture and my best friend who I sent this picture to is this standee to scale? Is this actually how tall Jin is? I'm not sure if this is to scale or not. But also I'm just very short. So I'm like 5 feet. So it might just be that I am short and this standee is just a normal person size and I am just very teeny tiny. But so this was just some fun outside of the venue. These first 2 pictures are before the concert and this last one is after the concert, and just holding up some signs that my mom and I made for the concert. No, our signs didn't get shown on screen, but that's okay. We had fun making them. So yes, AK, you can finally put a face to the name and the voice. Since I don't really do, since I'm always kind of like just the disembodied voice in my videos and here in the live streams, you really have no way of knowing, but this is what I look like. Thank you very much, Metaloop. And there were so many amazing themed outfits at the concert that my outfit for day 2 is kind of nothing really super special, but I had fun. I tried to do my best to recreate Jin's Running Wild outfit. Both the outfit that he wears in the music video and that he wore in like performances. I believe this picture that I have of him in the outfit is from when he wore it at one of the Happy showcases. So I tried my best to get kind of a green jacket. I was originally gonna do a shirt with a tie and I just ran out of time to get those. But it's probably a good idea that I didn't. Because it was very hot in Dallas. So I was just in a normal shirt. And then that's actually I have a scarf around my neck, which is like, this was sold a while back. I think it came back as like a re-release of merch. This is actually the Black Swan scarf. And it's like more of a kind of tie scarf, so it's very thin and you can sort of like wrap it around your purse and do some stuff like that with it. So I made that as my tie, and I had purchased a bunch of pins off of Etsy that I decided to put on to kind of emulate his pins that he wears in the video. And you can't see it in any of the pictures that I have here, but I'm in jeans like he is, and I don't have he had like a little Tomodachi game system attached to his belt for that. I didn't have anything like that, but I did have it's supposed to be for holding hand sanitizer, but it's shaped like an astronaut. And so I, of course, had to buy that. And so that was hanging off of my belt loop as well to kind of add to the ambiance. So I had fun. It was, like I said, nowhere near as amazing as some people's outfits, but it was my own little kind of cosplay. And seriously, so many people were in amazing outfits for the concert. Some people were dressed like, I don't know if you guys remember from like Run BTS episodes when they would be in like full body BT21 character outfits, like, and they'd have to wear them sometimes as punishments. People were in full body RJ costumes. People were dressed in like various Jin merch. People were recreating some outfits that he's worn in like pictures and things like that. So people were so creative. People were in dresses patterned in like Jin Ramen and things like that. It's like so many people did so many cute ideas, and yeah, there was so much stuff going on that was just so fun. It was so fun, and like to look out and see all the cowboy hats, especially because of course Dallas and Rope It. And so I said to my mom, I wonder how many people aren't in the know and they don't really know what's going on, and they're wondering why everybody's showing up to this K-pop concert in cowboy boots and cowboy hats, because there were so many cowboy hats, and it was just so cute. Everybody had like a very fun and unique spin on that, and it was like, even from like my higher up seats on the first day, it was just like looking out over a sea of cowboy hats. It was so much fun. So anyway, so yeah, no, practical clothes is a very good idea, and I imagine that some of the people who were in like the cowboy hats and cowboy boots were probably very hot. It was very hot in Dallas. I mean, I'm kind of used to the heat because I live in Central Florida, and we've been in a very hot spell right now as well. But yeah, it was hot. I mean, and I felt very lucky that I had a hotel room so close by on day 2, because it was nice to be able to, like, you know, we were kind of in more casual clothes, a little bit more lighter weight clothes earlier in the day, so we could go and explore the venue. And then I was able to go back to my hotel room and take a shower and kind of, you know, refresh myself before I actually got into my concert outfit. So it was very nice to be able to have that ability, because it was very hot. And you know, I can imagine that some of those people were roasting, even though their outfits were beautiful. So I showed you these pictures. I'll show you as well, since the games are the same, but different parts of the games and like the answers and stuff are of course different. This is how we did our games, day 1 and day 2. So our telepathy game, where we have to act out. So, and I'll explain just in case any of you guys haven't seen like his concert streamed yet. There is a game where he wants everybody to be quiet, and we get a word put up on the screen, and we're not, and honestly, we cheated so hard during this game. I hope Jin was proud of our cheating skills. We had to act out the word without saying anything, just through gestures. And day 1, they wanted us to act out Jin Wick, of course, in reference to his amazing Run Jin episode where he learned how to be an action star. And then they wanted us to act out Cowboy. So Jin got both of those. He was spectacular at guessing. He did make a little bit of fun of us, though, because we're supposed to not talk. And so, of course, when he told us to practice and be quiet, there were some people who absolutely had to cheer, and he was like, wow, so quiet, I'm so impressed. It was hilarious. And he made such an effort to speak in English for a huge majority of the concert. So like he tried so hard to speak English. I was so proud of him. Like I said, we definitely cheated though, because like for instance, when people, like, since so many people were in cowboy hats, they were kind of using that as the way of showing him that the word was cowboy. And at first he thought it might be rope it. So he was like, not song title. And we were all like, no, not song title. Even though we weren't supposed to speak. So, so he was able to get both of those. And his outfit that he wore for that was the Taekwondo outfit, which he did also wear in the Korea concert. So it was very fun to be able to see the Taekwondo outfit in person. And of course, the telepathy game dictates what outfit he wears for Super Tuna. So it was a lot of fun to see him do Super Tuna in the Taekwondo outfit. Day 2, they were very tricky because day 1, he thought that cowboy might be rope it. This time it was rope it, but he got it because everybody did kind of like the lasso motion with their army bomb. So he got that really quick. and then the other one was blowing a kiss. So he got that one very easily as well. And he had to wear the sauna outfit that he wore in the episode of Run Jin called The Scorching Gourmet. And so he had to do Super Tuna in the sauna outfit. And that towel was bugging him. It wouldn't stay on his head. So near the second half of Super Tuna, he just took the towel off and was like aggressively waving it and twirling it above his head, which was so much fun. And honestly, that's the theme of this whole concert, basically, is just, it was so much fun. Jin knows how to put on such a fun concert, and it was just, the energy of this concert was unbelievable. And then, of course, we also had the song lyric game. I'm very proud to report that we didn't drop the tray on Jin's head. He had to, of course, guess the lyrics based on what we were singing. And if not, he was going to get the little metal tray dropped on his head. And we spared him from that, so I'm very glad. We almost didn't do To Me Today. He said he was kind of confused on that one until the part where you go, the one. And we did that really loudly. And he was like, okay, now I know what it is. So day one, it was To Me Today and Butter. And then day two, it was the astronaut and mic drop. The astronaut was very funny because we kept singing the astronaut long after the song lyrics were done, and he had to go, okay, I got it. And then we had a blast with mic drop. If you guys saw the festive video that J-Hope and Jin did where they were kind of laughing about how they don't remember some of the dance moves anymore, I don't know if Jin's been practicing or watching videos or he just really remembers the dance for mic drop, but once he realized it was mic drop, he started doing the whole dance, and he is dang good. He knows all his mic drop his mic drop moves still, and did a great job. So that was a lot of fun. And I think he was very proud of us that we we made sure that he didn't get the tray dropped on his head. So much fun to do those games with Jin. Hi, Javine. It's good to see you. Yes, he is very tired. The live broadcast that he did after the Dallas concert, we were watching it while we were leaving the venue, and we were like, he is so sleepy. Oh my goodness. But the funny thing is, you would never know it to see the day two concert, because like he had so much energy day one, and just like sang his heart out day one. And so it made so much sense to then see how tired he looked in that live broadcast. But then day two, he came out and he had so much energy and just sang so beautifully and with so much passion and energy. And it's just, so it's like, I don't know where he gets that energy from. I don't know how he goes from being super, super tired to just having so much energy. I mean, I was tired after 2 hours of just like bouncing up and down and dancing, let alone Jin spends 2 hours running around the stage and singing and doing all of these, he doesn't take any breaks. Anytime he's off stage, he's like changing or, prepping for the next stage. So it's just like so amazing. And I hope to hear about everybody's experiences when they either see the Amsterdam concert in the theaters or see it in person. I'm so excited to hear all of the stories that come out of that. That's going to be great. There's also, it's so much fun to follow the different stops on the concert, just like by through things that are being posted on social media, even if you're not actually at the concerts. And it's actually really cool because I'm not really big into watching reaction content. It's just, never something I really got into, but I do know a few reactors and content creators. And my mom watches a lot more reaction content than I do, so she actually knows even more than I do. And a lot of them were actually at the Dallas concert, which was very cool. So day one, when I was in line, I don't know, do any of you guys here either know of or watch the reaction channel What You Gotta Say? I used to watch them a lot more. I don't watch them as much now. I just kind of have fallen off with, a lot of that content. But we were standing in line waiting to go in the venue, and a gentleman walks by, and I look over and I look at my mom and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Nico from What You Gotta Say. And a couple other people were like, think that's a YouTuber. I think that might be Nico. And eventually I guess he had been looking for everybody else, and he came back and he went over into a different line, and his wife was there, and Blaze, who also is a co-host of the channel, was there. And then there was another reactor there who they're friends with, by the name of John Reeves, and they were literally all like right across from where we were standing. So that was kind of cool to be like, I know these ARMY. I've watched these ARMY on YouTube. So it was really cool to see them in line. So there are actually a ton of reactors and content channels that went to Dallas that are posting different concert vlogs and different experiences and things like that, and are talking about it. So if you guys see any of those and you watch any of those, you can know that I was also there, which is just really fun. AK, you're very right. It's very, very different. And like I said earlier, I really haven't been to that many concerts in general. And I've only, in terms of BTS concerts, I've only been to PTDLA. But PTDLA, and you've probably heard me say this in other live streams, was like of course it was so much fun and it was a lot of energy, but it was also very cathartic. Like, it was a very different experience. And Jin's concert was just so much fun. Like, I honestly expected, because there are like a lot of songs on Echo that make me emotional and things like that, and it's like, I thought that I would be like crying for most of this concert. And I admit I did cry during The Astronaut, because you guys probably know this because I made a whole video about The Astronaut, but The Astronaut is my song. The Astronaut means so much to me. So I definitely could not help but, tears streaming down my face during The Astronaut. But even other songs that I thought would make me emotional, like make me cry or make me sad, instead I was just like absorbed in listening to Jin sing them, and just like absorbed in the stage, because every single stage is so different. It has a different energy, it has a different vibe, and so you're so enthralled by like what's going on. And so like the graphics that are on the screen behind him, or the different effects, are just so different. Like, when he did Another Level, there was all of this fire effect going on, and then when he did the BTS medley later, it was a whole bunch of confetti instead. So it's just like some songs had lasers going off and some songs had smoke going off, and it's like, so everything is so different that you're kind of just transfixed. And it was honestly the most fun I've ever had. So it was just like, not a whole lot of time for tears, because I was just having so much fun. And you're right, Don't Feed the Bears. I totally get that too. There's Jin just has this ability to make me feel like so many happy emotions, which is appropriate because, he has Happy as the album. But it's just like, and I loved watching Run Jin, and how much he put into Run Jin as a show. And so I love how much he's put Run Jin the show into Run Jin the concert. Like, not even just with the outfits that like he would, have to wear during Super Tuna and things like that, but just so many little elements of the show are present in the concert. And I think that's so special and unique. I'm just catching up on the chat. Yeah, I agree. I don't watch a lot of reaction channels. Some of them can be fun. Some of them are very, like nice, genuine people, and they do good reactions. But a lot of times especially because my main fellow ARMY, my life is my mom. So a lot of times if something new comes out, we watch it and we talk about it together. So it's like I don't feel the need to watch somebody else watch it and talk about it, because like I've already had that experience with my mom. So it's just not something that I like prioritize super much. But it was cool to see some people that I recognize on YouTube. A lot of fun. But and AK, yeah, the show, the entirety of Jin's concert, it also flows really, really well. Like, everything just, like, all of it fits so well together. Like, for instance, the fact that it's called the Run Soak Jin Tour and the first song in the concert is Running Wild is perfect, and it's just like, And while he's doing Running Wild, they're showing all of these like different graphics from like each episode of Run Jin. So there'll be like a graphic behind him, and you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the Squid Game episode, or that's the Jin Wick episode, or that's the Taekwondo episode. And it's just really fun that it's all of these like little callbacks to the show. It's just a blast. Yes, Enthuse Beast, you're so right. And that was the thing too. There was obviously a ton of energy at PTDLA, especially because I went day one, so it was their first concert back after the pandemic. So there was a ton of energy there, but the energy for this concert was just like so many people were dancing and singing and laughing, and just like you could tell how much fun people were having. And I think Jin would really, really like that, because I think he would want us all to have had a blast at this concert, and you could tell people were just having so much fun. And that is infectious. Like, other ARMY around you having fun and you're having fun, it just kind of makes the whole thing, just the whole atmosphere is uplifted by how much everybody is enjoying it. And it's actually funny, I was reviewing on the airplane home, I was reviewing some of like the concert footage that I took, and it's actually quite funny. The only time that the venue was like completely silent was when he was playing the piano and singing I Will Come to You and Abyss. Nobody was making a single sound. And it's so funny when you go from like all of the cheering and the excitement and the energy of the other songs to just people were so silent. No one was singing, no one was cheering, no one was making a sound. They were just listening to Jin. And that was really, really cool. Just that energy of just total focus on his piano playing and his singing. It was beautiful. AK, you are so right. My mom is a very cool mom. And I had so much fun with her at the concert. I'm so glad we were able to go together. We just had a blast. So hello, anybody else who's just kind of arrived recently? Hello, welcome. I hope you are doing well. I'm back from Dallas, so I'm just sharing some of my concert experiences. Had so much fun with Jin at the concerts. Speaking of which, I'm also going to show you guys some of the fun stuff that I got at the concerts. So, for anybody who's been to a BTS concert in person, I'm sure you know that ARMY loves to give out freebies. And so I got some awesome freebies when I went to PTDLA. But the freebies that I got at the Jin concert were insane. I got so many freebies from ARMY. It's kind of hard to tell from this picture, but this is my desk, and this is like the entire surface of my desk is covered in freebies from ARMY. Just, stuff that people made, or photo cards, buttons, candy, stickers, like so much fun. It was an unbelievable amount, and just like people were literally like walking up and down the lines when we were waiting to get in, and they're like, have a freebie, here you go, and it's just so much stuff that was just so lovingly made and handed out with such warmth and happiness. And it was so cute. ARMY were even giving out freebies to just like people who were working, like when we were checking into our hotel, there were ARMY next to us who were also checking in, and they just gave freebies out to like the hotel staff, like, which was so sweet. Javine, yeah, you are so right. Jin does want people to put their phones down. There was a lot of recording on the phones, but I think a lot of people were also very focused on having fun. It was a lot of ARMY bombs out. I was doing a little bit of like a two-handed balance. So I had my ARMY bomb in my left hand and I had my phone in my right hand, and I kind of kept my phone down at my chest level so I could still see everything. And so all of my footage, any videos that I took of the concert, are all so bouncy because I'm literally either swaying back and forth or bouncing. So like, if anybody who watches my concert videos might need to take a motion sickness pill, because I just could not stop bouncing up and down. So Metaloop, was there anything kind of in between when he was changing? Not really, because he actually kind of made changing part of the game. So like when he changed into his outfit for Super Tuna, he was like, I have 90 seconds, go. So he literally would run back to the stage and change, you know, and that was his challenge, was to change in 90 seconds. So there was actually like a countdown timer on the screen for that 90 seconds, and then he'd reappear. And then when he changed out of the outfit for Super Tuna and back into his regular concert clothes, he spun a wheel, and whatever the wheel landed on, we had to sing along with that song, and it was like done karaoke style. So for the first night, it was Magic Shop. For the second night, it was The Astronaut. And for each song, he has like a different karaoke background, for lack of a better word, that he's made. So it looks almost like what you would see in a karaoke establishment, you know, like what the video would be with the lyrics on screen, and he's doing all this cute stuff in the background. Oh no, it's buffering. The funny thing is, this is actually the best my connection's been all day, so it's kind of funny that now it's buffering. Okay, I'm back. Yay. That is so ironic that when it's at the best, that the best that I've been looking at, my bar is finally in the green instead of in the red or the yellow, and that's when I drop off. But yeah, so Jin really didn't there wasn't a huge amount of downtime for anything. And so he had like that little challenge to get changed. He had that karaoke challenge. And then at the end, like for his encore, he had a little video, which again was very much a throwback to like all his episodes of Run Jin. So he had his own kind of like very, very unique ways of changing and doing his, like, he didn't really have a lot of VCRs super much, but he kind of had other fun things in between to kind of keep it going, which was so much fun and so creative. Everything, just like all the little details that were put into the concert are just super creative details, and they make it so fun. All right, next up for pictures I want to show you, I wanted to show you guys, I went a little bit crazy with merch, but I had a lot of fun and got a lot of great stuff. So I kind of had to condense everything a little bit, so it's hard to see what certain things are. That picture of Jin there at the top is actually one of those little sign pickets. You can't see the handle because it's underneath this other picture. And then this is just like a very beautiful, high quality picture. The guitar there is actually a keychain, and you can't see it in this picture because it's kind of dark, but the guitar itself says Dallas, and there's one, you know, for each stop in the American tour. And so they're different colors, and they have the name of the venue there, or the name of the city that he's in. And yes, I loved this shirt. This shirt is so cute. The front, this is actually the back of the shirt. The front says Worldwide Handsome. And then this is the back. And down below the picture of Jin is actually all of the concert dates and locations, which you can't see in my picture, but it's a really fun shirt. And then, of course, I couldn't leave without getting some photo cards. So the last thing there are the photo cards. Enthused Beast, your comment is disappearing? Oh, no. I don't know why that is happening. I'm seeing some of your other comments, but I don't know if other ones are for some reason getting deleted with, you know, when I was kind of having those buffering issues, maybe some of the comments were getting taken away. I am so sorry about that. And then kind of shifting back to merchandise that ARMY made, these were some signs that ARMY made to be held up at different times. So the sign on the left was to be held up right when he came out to start the concert. And then this sign here on the right was meant to be held up during Rope It. And it's actually really fun because on the second day when they were handing out the signs on the left, they had a whole bunch that they were giving out to ARMY, and they were just giving them to people to continue handing out. And I don't know, I guess I must have looked trustworthy because they handed me a large bundle and they're like, hey, please help us pass these out. And so I was passing them out to people, and that was a lot of fun. Oh, Metaloop, that's really fun. That J-Hope had like one for his tour as well. It's really cute to be able to like kind of have them and collect them, and they're a really great size. Like my mom just kind of hooked her, the one that she got on her purse, and it's just like this perfect little sign. Oh, Enthused Beast. That's weird. That I don't think I had like a comment cooldown mode on here, but YouTube might just be wild in, as it always does. I have so many problems with YouTube and just with posting and general things, so it would not surprise me if it was just trying to give you a hard time. But and like for anybody who's been to previous BTS concerts, these signs were, just kind of like a staple of the concert, and, were always kind of passed out and left on people's chairs, and they don't really do that anymore. I was very sad that we never got signs for PTDLA. We didn't have, so pretty much any of the signs that are at BTS concerts now, I think pretty much all of them are made by ARMY now, and they did such a fun job. I'm so glad that I have these as keepsakes. The other event that they did in Dallas that I didn't see, I know people were giving these out, like I saw people talking about it on Twitter and stuff, but I didn't actually see them in person at the venue that day, so I didn't get one. But the other event that they did was holding up paper hearts during the song Don't Say You Love Me. And Jin did see those, and he commented day 2 in his ending speech. He commented that he saw it and he thought it was really special. But of course, because, he's our humble boy, he said that we shouldn't be doing events for him. He should be doing events for us, which was really, really sweet. But I think he was really touched by seeing all the hearts go up during Don't Say You Love Me. So that was a really, really cute event. And I hope that the ARMYs who did that are really proud of themselves, because he noticed it and made a comment on it, and all their hard work definitely paid off. Yeah, the signs here are fantastic. Mine got a little bit crumpled just through the course of the concert and going around, but they're beautiful. They're just beautiful quality signs, and they're like on really nice material and like nice and thick. So I really want to preserve mine as just like part of my concert memories. Oh, Metaloop, that's awesome. That is really, really cool. ARMY does such great projects. I always love seeing about, what ARMY Online are planning, and all of the efforts that they make for different concerts. It's so special, and I know it means a lot to the boys, and I always love when we get confirmation that the boys have seen different projects. PTDLA's project was also a heart thing, but the heart said in Korean, "We've missed you." And it was very cute because I actually saw a video in PTD. They would go around on those carts so they could see the audience a little bit better. And I believe it was J-Hope saw it one of the days, and he pointed at it and he mouthed the words, "We missed you too." So it was very obvious that, he had been able to read the message and such, which was really, really cool. And it's very special when ARMY gets to see that, see the kind of the fruits of the labor of the projects, because ARMY works so hard on these, and they pass them out so diligently. I mean, like these, the ones on the left, the ones that I helped pass out, they not only were they, like I said, they were giving them to people because they gave them to me, but they were literally handing them out in front of like the hotels that people were coming out of. They were on the street corner handing them out. They were, just in front of restaurants. They were walking up and down the street, and it's just like they were so dedicated. And it was honestly so fun to also be able to pass them out, because it made me feel like I was helping, even though I wasn't actually part of the project. It made me feel like I was helping a little bit. And, I hope that maybe Jin saw it, or like somebody on his staff saw it and told him about it afterwards or something, because it was really special. It was really cute. Aw, the comments are so sweet. Thank you so much for being here, Javine. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoy it on the replay later. I'm so glad that you were here for like the first hour or so. And I will hopefully be back somewhat soon. I don't know when my next live stream will be, but hopefully I will be seeing you around again very soon. And I hope you have a great time in Amsterdam. Have a absolutely wonderful time. All right. So, like I said earlier in the stream, I'm definitely not like a concert expert. So these tips, I wanted to give you guys some tips from just kind of my experiences, but take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt, and know that these are very, specific niche tips. They're not going to be like broad overviews for like, here's how you do concert stuff. These are just going to be kind of my personal experiences. So, and this, I think this can apply to Jin's concerts in future. For those of you who are going to see him in other locations, I think this can apply to any future BTS concerts, and probably just a lot of K-pop concerts in general. So I hope that some of these are at least kind of useful. But so my first tip would be, if you're staying overnight, stay close to the venue if you can. When I went to PTDLA, my hotel wasn't that far away from the venue, but it was probably about like a 10-15 minute drive. And if you've listened to any of my other live broadcasts, you know that actually turned out to be very difficult when we were leaving the venue, and it was impossible to get transportation back. So this time around, I made it a point to try and stay as close to the venue as possible. And like I said, we actually stayed at two hotels. One was about a 5-minute drive away, but then the second hotel that we stayed at was literally right across the street, and it made all the difference. It was wonderful to be that close to the venue. Now, of course, not every venue is going to have hotels right there. So, and of course, I want to also put an asterisk next to any of these tips. These are all tips if you can afford them. Obviously, everybody has different levels that they're bringing to the concert. And if you're going to try and go a little bit cheaper on your accommodation, that is totally, totally valid. So just, take everything, like I said, with a grain of salt. If you can afford it, if you have the ability to stay close, I do recommend it. But obviously, anywhere you get to stay so you can see the concert is great. But staying so close to the venue made a huge difference for us. Oh, Javine, that's such a cute freebie. I love that. That's going to be great. People are going to love that. I can't wait to see pictures of everything. That's so exciting. Have a good rest of your day and a good rest of your week, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. The other thing returning to the tips, the other thing that I really, really want to emphasize is, unless your phone has like amazing battery life, your phone will die. It absolutely will. My phone was pretty much dead by the time I got out of PTDLA, and I made a very rookie mistake in that concert, because originally I took a bus over from my hotel to the venue. I took a rally bus. I made two rookie mistakes. One is that the bus getting into the venue was kind of chaotic. There was a lot of things chaotic about PTDLA, I'm not going to lie. But like the buses kind of were a little bit confused about where they needed to go, and there was a bit of a backup. So some of us got off of the bus so we could hit the merch lines. I was one of those people. I also I had met a friend at the airport. And we had literally just met for the first time in the airport. We're like, let's see if we can meet up at the concert. And so I knew that she was kind of looking for me. So I exchanged phone numbers with some other armies on the bus, and they said, we'll let you know where the bus ends up so you can find it later. Fast forward to later, I could not find the bus ever. I walked around in a giant circle for probably 45 minutes looking for the bus, and I couldn't find it. All that to say was that when I went to the concert, there were chargers on the bus. There were places to plug in your phone. So I only took the cord part of my phone. I didn't take the wall adapter. So then later there were outlets where I could have plugged my phone in, but I didn't have the adapter. I only had the cord. So my phone was pretty much almost dead. And the only reason why it didn't completely die is because I had a fuel rod. I don't know if you've seen those at airports or anything like that. They're they look almost like little cylinders, and you can plug them in. My fuel rod might have been a bit older. It might have already had a few uses in it, because honestly, my fuel rod only gave me 15-20% of my battery that night, which was enough to kind of save me from having my phone be completely dead, but wasn't the best. So for this concert, I bought and I took a screenshot of the Amazon listing. I know it's probably kind of tiny on your screen, but it just kind of gives you an idea. This is a portable charger, like a power bank, that I just bought on Amazon. It was $16 US. So not super expensive. And this thing was amazing. This thing, I charged my phone with it both nights, because like both nights by the time I got to the venue, my phone was at like 40%, and I knew I would be wanting to take pictures and videos. So I was able to charge my phone back up to 100% in like an hour and a half with this, and it lasted for like both of those charges. It lasted and it was fantastic. The only downside to this is that it takes a long time to recharge it. So like this in the picture, you can see that it has almost like a little illuminated paw print, and that's actually how you see the battery level. So by the time I was done using it, it went down to like the pad of the paw print, so I knew I had to recharge it. And it's actually I was charging it last night for like 3 hours and it still hasn't fully recharged, so it does take a while to get it back up to full usage, but once it's up to full usage, it's amazing. And it's the second night, because my mom and I were staying right across the street, we were like literally just left our hotel really casually, and we went over to like a 7-Eleven like right on the corner to get like water and soda. And while we were coming back from 7-Eleven, there was an army who was still waiting there, and she's like, do either of you have a phone that I can borrow? My phone is dead. I'm waiting for, my ride to come pick me up, but I have no way of getting in touch with them. And we didn't have our phones on us, so we were actually going to run back up to our hotel room and like get our phones or like get a charger for her to use. And luckily her ride came in that time, so she was okay. But I really, she was starting to get really nervous because she was there waiting by herself and she had no phone. And that is such a scary feeling. And I know how scary that can feel from when it happened to me in PTDLA. So I definitely cannot emphasize enough, have backup power with you, have your phone charger, have a fuel rod, have a portable charger like this. I had everything with me for this concert. I had all three of those things because you literally cannot be too careful. So I definitely cannot recommend enough. Make sure, and I see Don't Feed the Bears, you mentioned in the comments that they rent phones in Korea specifically for concerts. Honestly, that's very smart. Just anything that you can do or have, and whatever the most inexpensive way possible is for you to have backup power, please have backup power. I cannot emphasize that enough. My next tip, like I had said kind of earlier when I showed you the picture of my seats day one, if you're scared of heights, do be mindful of the seats on the higher floors. We were trying to look at like pictures of the venue when we purchased our tickets, and it didn't look like the seats we were in were going to be that high up. And then when we got to those seats, they were very high up. They were actually a little bit vertigo inducing. Like, so if you're prone to that type of thing, definitely be careful, because like anytime we had to stand up to like let somebody else into our row, it was really disorienting. There was this, it was kind of nauseating. So definitely be mindful of that. And again, do what you got to do to see BTS or a member of BTS. So you can go and have a great time, but just keep that in mind. The other thing, this might be more of my fourth bullet point there. This might be a thing that was more applicable to the Dallas concert. I don't know, and you guys can let me know in the comments like how it was at Hobie's concerts or at Yoongi's concerts. And I'm curious for like those of you who see Jin in Amsterdam how it is. But in Dallas, the merch lines were intense. The American Airlines Center was basically like a big circle. And so when you went in, there were a ton of entrances and exits. And at basically every entrance, they had like a table for your bags to be checked and an x-ray scanner to go through. And then they had the walkway. And these were not huge walkways. These were not like very wide walkways. And then on the other side of the walkway, basically every section had, for lack of a better way to describe it, every section kind of had like a tunnel to go through to get to your section. So like when you walked in the main doors, the first section that you saw was, of course, 101. And so the way it would go is you'd walk through like 3 or 4 different x-ray machines and baggage check areas. And then there was the walkway. And then you'd have the tunnel for 101. And then along the wall in between like 101 and 102, you'd have food, like a food stand that was kind of like built into the wall. And then so it'd be like 101's tunnel, food stand, 102's tunnel, food stand, 103's tunnel, and then like the next area would be sort of a hallway. Some of the hallways would also have like information kiosks or like vendors that were selling snacks or like entrances to bars or patios or things like that. And then you'd go around that corner and it would be, you know, the next set of tunnels and food stands. So that's all well and good, but then they'd also have the merchandise booths, photo ops, and the ramen stand, which was giving out the free Jin Ramen after the concerts. They also had those like right there. So especially after the concerts, the lines were intense. And like I said, this is probably something that only really applies to the Dallas concerts and to the American Airlines center, but it was honestly quite scary. And luckily Army is very patient and very nice. So it was easy to kind of, just be like, excuse me, I'm sorry, and navigate your way out. But it was quite intense. And I'm honestly surprised that no one got injured. So depending on what your merch situation looks like for your concerts, please be safe. There were merch lines outside in Dallas, and when my mom and I went over early on Wednesday, we were able to get in the merch line very easily. We were able to get merch in like 5 minutes. We were able to circle back and get in the line again when we decided we wanted more stuff. And I know that Monday and Tuesday, the merch lines were, the merch outside was like stretching around the block. So I don't know if they really ran out of stuff. Like both my mom and I are kind of like short and petite. So we ended up with medium t-shirts, which are huge on us. So like, I don't know if maybe we missed out on the smaller sizes because they sold out or anything. But other than that, we were able to still get a lot of the merch that we wanted. So just be safe with those merch venues, please, 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 because they were very scary. Some of the other things, I know these are very practical tips and things that, most Army would probably think of, but always read the venue rules, because, for instance, I think most of us are conditioned to take clear bags to the concerts, and you didn't actually need a clear bag to go to the American Airlines Center. So things like that, you might not, you might want to check, because some of the venues, you might need a clear bag. Some of them you might not. Some of them don't allow certain types of cameras, things like that. So always go on the venue's website or on their like social media and see what the requirements and things are that they have. The other thing I would recommend is check how your tickets work. I'm glad that I did that beforehand. I checked out everything on Ticketmaster. Because it was like, add your tickets to your virtual digital wallet. So like I had to make sure that I had Google Wallet going on and, had all the tickets there. And luckily it was a very smooth process, but definitely double check that, when you have your tickets available for whatever concert you might be going to, because it might be different from venue to venue, and it might be different depending on how you've purchased your tickets. Some of them are like mobile only, and then of course there's resale tickets. So definitely make sure you double check that. The other thing I would recommend is to pack smart. The first night that my mom and I were on a bit of a time crunch the first night because our flight got delayed by an hour due to weather. So we kind of had to get to the venue in a rush, which means that I opened up my suitcase, took out all the stuff that I knew I needed for the concert, and threw it in my bag, and we went. Which meant that for the rest of the night, I was left digging through all of the random stuff that I threw in my bag to try and find basic stuff, which was really, really annoying. So the second night, I actually put some of my other miscellaneous stuff in just like freezer bags or like plastic sandwich bags. And just that way, I was like, okay, I know that I have basic things like tissues and Band-Aids and, medicine for if we got a headache, but it's not mixed in with all the other stuff. It's in its own separate bag. So definitely keep that in mind when you're packing, that there's nothing more annoying than having to dig through all of your stuff. Yes, enthused beast, even something that simple. Yeah, it can be, and that's another thing about like that power cell that I was showing you guys, is it was, verified for you can take it on the plane, so things like that, it's just like those little things that you forget. And then suddenly you're, if you're doing air travel or you're trying to get into a venue, you're like, oh no, what about this? What about that? So definitely always check like those things that you can take and can't take, and then kind of, make sure that you have a good system for all of that stuff. It makes a world of difference, believe me. The other thing that I wanted to say, just in conjunction with the venue, like I was just saying about American Airlines Center had all those food booths there. So chances are you will have the ability to eat something and get something at the venue. But I would recommend, if you can eat before you go to the venue, it's never a bad idea to do so. The first night, like I said, because we had that delay in our flight, my mom and I did not have time to get anything to eat, especially because like everything at our hotel was already closed by the time we got there at like 6:00 in the evening. And we were like, okay, guess we're going to eat at the venue. And we were lucky. The food was that we got like these enormous, soft pretzels, wasn't that expensive, but we saw something online that I guess the food at the venue in Anaheim was intense. Like I think it was like $60 for pizza at the venue in Anaheim. So keep that in mind. If you can eat before you get to the venue, I would highly recommend it. Even if you're in like the second night, we ate locally. So that's also kind of my next bullet point. If your concert is in like kind of in town, if there's like businesses and things around it, I definitely recommend just enjoying the atmosphere around the town. It was a lot of fun in Dallas. The way the American Airlines Center is situated, it's basically kind of right in the middle of this area called Victory Park. And there were a lot of businesses and a lot of hotels. And so the atmosphere was just so electric. Like, some businesses were offering discounts. Like, excuse me, there was a sushi bar that was just up the block from the venue, and they had a sign outside, and they're like, hey, 10% off for Army coming to see Jin's concert, and my mom and I went to there was a ramen place up the block, which was ironically called Jin Ramen, which is very funny. A lot of Army were walking by and taking pictures of the sign just because it happened to be called Jin. So it was like, yay, Jin. But by the time we approached the restaurant, we could hear that they were blasting BTS music. Like, so it was just like a lot of fun and it was a very beautiful part of town. It was just, the businesses were so lovely, and there were like a lot of shady spots to sit. Like, and just like if you went to Starbucks and got a drink, and just like you could sit there and enjoy your drink. So if you're in an area that has like a nice amount of restaurants or shops, definitely enjoy that, because that was such a fun part of the experience. And of course, just the biggest tip I can give you, of course, naturally, is just have an amazing time. Whatever that means to you, whatever you have to do to enjoy yourself, as long as you and other Army are safe, do it. Just live in the moment, especially for Jin's concerts just being so much dang fun. Just have like the best time ever. It was a magical experience. Any of you guys going to Amsterdam or other areas, just soak it all in. You're going to have a blast. You really are. Oh, Metaloop, the merch line for J-Hope at Lollapalooza. I can imagine that was insane. Like, I can imagine that was intense. Yes, Metaloop you're also right in your comment a little bit further down about drinking water. Definitely. That's another thing with checking the venue rules on outside food and drink. Because like American Airlines Center did not let you bring in anything that was outside. However, they were giving out water outside, which was nice because it was very hot out. The other thing that the American Airlines Center did was they had a couple of areas to cool off. They actually had like a bus where you could go on and get like just kind of absorb the AC, which was very nice. So they had some of those cooling areas as well. So keep that in mind as well. And if you do have to buy like a bottled water or a bottled soda in the venue, that's okay. If they don't let you take in anything and you have no other choice. But yeah, it's anything you can do to stay hydrated for sure. Don't feed the bears. Yeah, I think the reason why I was able to do the crowds is because it's Army. My mom and I were kind of having that discussion. We're both introverts. We're both not big crowd people. And like I said, we live in Central Florida, so we go to the theme parks and it's too crowded for us. A lot of the times we're like, nope, can't do it. Too many people. We actually have an event, like I said earlier, this weekend that's going to be like very crowd heavy. And I'm not looking forward to the crowds at all because it's very different when the crowd is Army. It's a very different atmosphere and a very different environment as opposed to like a regular crowd. But I was honestly that kind of snafu, for lack of a better word, with the merch line and the photo op lines and the ramen lines all being like right there when you're trying to enter and exit. I don't know who came up with that, but honestly that was really unsafe. And I think the only reason why it was okay was because it was Army. Oh, hi, T-Style. It's good to see you. Welcome in. Yeah, I imagine that trying to get water and hydration at a lot of these concerts is very hard, especially when you can't take things in or you can't take in water bottles or anything like that. Um, I but yeah, do whatever you've got to do to stay hydrated, especially um I know I don't know if the heat wave is also affecting Europe. I know a lot of the United States is going through a heat wave right now, and the heat is very, very intense at a lot of these locations. So I don't know if you guys in Europe are also experiencing that, but definitely please stay hydrated. Oh yay, T Style! I'm so glad that you enjoy the fact that it's a nice little Friday live stream. Yeah, I my schedule is a little bit wonky for the next few weeks, and I was looking at it before I left for Dallas, and I was like, "There's no way I can do a live broadcast on a Sunday for I think the next time I would be able to do it would be like the middle of August, and I'm like, that's not gonna be fun to talk about it after everybody's kind of already had their concert experiences, and like, my experience will have been, I'm like, I want to talk about it when it's fresh. So literally just got home last night, which was we caught a delay on the way to Dallas, and we caught a delay on the way home from Dallas. So I was supposed to get home yesterday afternoon, and I got home yesterday evening, pretty, like 9 o'clock at night instead. But it's okay. Nothing else mattered except going and seeing Jin and having a blast. So all the other travel delays, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Metaloop. I didn't really. I guess probably because of when we went to the venue, we didn't really experience a lot of like that crazy lining up super early. But like, holy moly, especially because it was so hot in Dallas, that people and like the venue actually even posted on their social media. They're like, it's so hot out. Please do not line up too early. Do not be here that long. You're it's gonna be so easy to get overheated. Because yeah, people were there like in the merch lines from like early. It was crazy. I can't even, I mean, I can't even imagine being there. And like, I saw pictures of people just kind of like sitting there under their umbrellas for shade. And it's like, something I loved about that area of Dallas was it had a lot of trees and like a lot of, nice shady spots, but American Airlines Center was not one of them. That courtyard where people were waiting was very, very sunny. We got lucky when we were waiting to go in on day two, because by the time we were there at around 6, because the doors open at 6:30, and by that point the sun had shifted enough that like the buildings on either side of that courtyard kind of shaded it. And the sun kind of was helping them cast that shadow over us, because otherwise it would have been intense. And it was pretty intense when we were there earlier in the day, just to kind of look around, and that's when we got in the merch line the first time. And when we took some of those pictures that you guys saw, like, where is my, like the picture that I took on the left and the picture in the middle, we took those probably at like noon, around noon, 12:30. And it was already very, very hot. And it was even hot at night. We came out, the concert was done by like 10, and it was still intensely hot and humid. So, definitely keep that in mind for your venues as well. And if those of you who have been to other concerts as well, whether it's a BTS concert or like Yoongi's concert, Hobi's concerts, even other K-pop concerts or anything, if you have any other tips to add to this, please feel free. Like I said, this is definitely not like an exhaustive list or anything. This is just kind of some of my personal experiences. But if you have any other things that you want to add, like you had mentioned in the comments, hydration, please feel free to add on to these tips. Because I definitely, these are just some of those things that you forget because there's so many things that you want to try and plan, especially if you have to travel for a concert like we did, because we also had to plan for the air travel and the hotels and getting around. We had to plan like all sorts of Ubers, taking different Ubers and things like that. So there's so many things that go into planning an event like this that you can honestly just forget some of these smaller things, or you don't know them until you experience them. So any other tips that you guys have, please feel free to add them in. I would love to, just have tips for ARMY who are going to future concerts. And for any of if you have any other questions specifically about Jin's concert, please let me know, especially for those of you who are going to the one in Amsterdam, or if you're just curious, like Don't Feed the Bear said earlier, if you're just kind of having, have fun living vicariously. Do you have any other questions or anything specifically about the concert that Jin is putting on? That's the thing too, in the comments talking about J-Hope's performance at Lollapalooza. I imagine that was really hard too, going to a concert where it wasn't just a member of BTS or it wasn't just BTS. I can imagine that was a very different experience as well, because that's something that I've loved about the concerts that I've gone to, is just knowing that it's just going to be, BTS, and a BTS friendly crowd, an ARMY crowd. That does make a lot of difference. I do think that some people who are curious sometimes come to the concerts. I think that was happening a bit in his concert in Anaheim, that people were just kind of wanted to go see a BTS member. But so Don't Feed the Bears asked, how does it rank in the concerts I've now attended? So it's so different from PTDLA that it's almost hard to rank, because PTDLA also came for me during a time in my life that was really difficult. Slight trigger warning for anybody with pets, but my childhood pet had actually passed away like a month before the PTD concert. And that I was very depressed and going through a really hard time because I had just lost, my childhood cat. And going to PTDLA was extra cathartic because of that. And it just really helped me feel better. And so it was that, and because it was the first concert that they did post-COVID, it was so emotional and there was so much going on, and it was like the energy of finally being back with BTS and the catharsis of being back with BTS. And so it was a very emotional, like it was an emotional roller coaster. Whereas Jin's concert was just 2 hours of so much fun. And so very different experiences. And I will cherish them both forever for very different reasons. And hello, I see a couple new people in the chat. I'm just doing a little bit of a discussion about Jin's Run Jin concert in Dallas. I just got back from Dallas yesterday, and I was lucky enough to see both of his shows. So we're just chatting a little bit about my experience and just having fun. We're kind of just in general talking about like concert experiences for BTS or the BTS members. And I'm just talking a little bit about what I experienced in Dallas. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome. AK is asking about the length of the show. So I didn't check my watch day 1, but I did happen to check my watch at the end of day 2, and it was about 2 hours. The concert started at 8, and I checked my watch when he was done, and it was like 9:55. So I'm not sure if maybe excuse me. I know like the concert that was streamed in Korea, I know like they kind of were showing, the before, like because we were seeing a lot of footage of like ARMY still coming in and like, when they were playing the songs beforehand. So some of that time might have been built into the live streaming as well. But for just going based on like the start of the show when he walked out and hit the button to when he was done and he put up the last little message at the end, that ran about 2 hours. Enthuse B said, I'm just scared of the singing and don't really know the lyrics. Honestly, I think Jin has a lot of fun with the fact that sometimes we struggle with the lyrics. Like, we were struggling with the lyrics of, I forget if it was day 1 when we were struggling a little bit with the lyrics of To Me Today, or I think that's what it was, but he was kind of laughing and he said, ARMY, you don't know Korean, so he was like very playful with us. So it was a lot of fun, even when we don't do the best the best singing. And it's Jin, he's a sweetie, so he still compliments us on our singing even when we don't do a great job. And it's kind of funny, I will often sing along with BTS just based on like the sound of what they're saying. I'll just sort of like mimic the sound. But when they put the lyrics on the screen and they try and like sort of spell the Korean out phonetically, I do a horrible job. Like for some reason, I find it so difficult to actually like phonetically pronounce the way they put the Korean pronunciations, kind of romanized up on the screen. For some reason, I just cannot read that and sing along. So it's almost better to not look at the screen. Yes, he likes roasting us, but it's all from a place of love. It's so funny. He lovingly roasted an ARMY who was singing Moon with him on day 2. They held up a sign that said Moon #1 singer, and he's like, okay, so sing along. And then they sang along really off key, and he started laughing and he said, you are a liar. You are not #1 singer. It was so funny. It was so cute. Oh, Metaloop, that's really nice. Yeah, that's something too, just another thing that's really fun about being like at the concert venues and stuff is just like ARMY kind of acting like BTS's representative, if that makes sense. Just, being polite and making sure the venue stays clean and just being really, really nice. Like when we checked into our hotel, we were wearing very obvious Jin merch, so they knew that we were there for the concert. And so the very nice people at the hotel front desk were like, oh, you guys are here for the concert. And we were like, yeah. And they were like, we don't really know too much about like BTS and ARMY, but like the fandom's really cool and everybody's so dedicated. And like it was so funny too. We were taking an Uber from our first hotel to our second hotel, and our driver came around the way the street went. Our driver came around the front of the American Airlines theater, and as we were going by, they happened to have. Let me go back up to my pictures here. We got lucky because they happened to be showing like the first and second pictures here. I have that billboard of Jin. That was like an electronic billboard, for lack of a better word, that was kind of cycling through other things. So you had to get lucky for the Jin one to pop up. So as we were driving by, the Jin one popped up, and my mom and I both went, oh, look, it's Jin, yay, it's the Jin poster. And our Uber driver, who had been like completely silent up until that point, went, the GOAT. And we were like, did he just call Jin the GOAT? Like, that's amazing. And he's like, you guys know BTS, right? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, there are so many ARMY in town, and it was just like, it was so funny And even when I was going through TSA at Dallas Airport to go home, obviously you have to take out your army bomb and put it in the bin to go through the X-ray machine. So I took out my army bomb, and the guy working the TSA line saw it, and he said to me, "Are you excited that they're gonna be going on tour again? Are you excited that they're back?" And I'm just like, this is so wild. Like, everybody, even just casual, like people you see casually around know BTS. It's so fun. Anything else that you guys were curious about, or any experiences from your concerts that you want to share, whether like older BTS concerts or like, we're talking a lot about some of the Lollapalooza experiences. Anything else you guys want to specifically mention about your concert experiences, or any other things I can tell you about the Run Jin tour? And like I said, it is a little bit, I feel like every venue is going to be very, very different for Jin. But I think that some of these tips do apply in general. Another tip that I would also give you guys that's not on this list would be, make sure you have enough room in your suitcase for any merchandise or army freebies if you're traveling, like, and you have to have like a suitcase to, get on a plane or anything like that. Or even if you're going to a concert that's a little bit more local for you and you're packing light, make sure you have space, because when we got all of our freebies and our merch, we were a little bit like, oh no, now we have to put this in our suitcase. How are we gonna do that? So luckily we were able to get everything in there, and we were able to fit it all, but but definitely keep that in mind. Metaloop's asking, do we have any predictions for future concert, and what is my guess for what we get next from BTS, a single or a show? So I know that they said that they were working on an album, and I know they had mentioned March. I originally was thinking that we were probably going to get a single, like it was going to be like, Dynamite, Butter, PTD were just, released as singles. That's kind of what I was imagining was going to happen. But they might prove me wrong and do an album. I think personally what I kind of hope would happen would be new music of some kind and then a tour. I don't know if they would sort of bring back the style of PTD, where it would be just kind of all of their group songs rather than like any individual songs, or if they do some kind of amalgamation of different things. And that's something that I really enjoyed about Jin's concert. And like, I know J-Hope has done this at his concerts, and Yoongi's done it at his concerts as well. But I never got a chance to hear any of their solo work because I was going to see the Map of the Soul tour. And then that, of course, got canceled because of the pandemic. So seeing PTDLA, it was all of their group songs, which was, of course, amazing. But never got a chance to see any of the solos. So I was lucky enough that Jin's set list for the Run Jin tour also includes Moon from Map of the Soul 7, as well as Epiphany from Love Yourself. So it was really, really cool to be able to hear some of Jin's solo songs as well. Oh goodness, that is a good question, AK. What was my favorite part of the concert? Um, Being somebody who loves The Astronaut, I did really love the performance of The Astronaut. It was beautiful. And just, the audience singing along with him was so amazing and special. I also really love the beginning of the concert, because he kicks it off with Running Wild and then I'll Be There. And as a huge fan of his album Happy, I love that he kicks it off with 2 songs for Happy, and it's just so fun. And he walks out, and for, anybody who watched Run Jin, excuse me, anybody who watched Run Jin knows, of course, that he had to start any game or anything that he played by saying "Dujon," so that it counted as him saying go, so he could start. And so he walks out for the start of the concert, and there's a button there in the center. And of course, he goes and says "Dujon" and hits the button, and Running Wild starts. And I just think that is such a fun, iconic way to start a concert. And it's just, he comes out with the energy immediately, and he's immediately running around and dancing. And when he does "I'll Be There," he ends it with like the windmill arm move that he does in the music video, and like air guitaring, and it's just like immediately he's starting it with so much energy and so much fun. So those would probably be, and of course Epiphany. When my mom and I watched the live stream concert from Korea and Jin did Epiphany in his encore, we were floored. Because we never thought we'd get to hear Epiphany. So absolutely, definitely that was a highlight, and hearing Epiphany live is just incredible. Oh, awesome. Hitchhiker Hobbit, that's great. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to have a blast. So if you want to avoid spoilers, I've already kind of talked about a lot of my main spoilers. Like I showed off merch and some stuff like that. So you can probably avoid, if you want to like watch this on replay, you can probably avoid like the first hour, if you want to, kind of avoid any of those things. And you can skip over some of like the questions I've been answering just now. I would definitely recommend, though, if you're going to the London show, definitely like the tips and tricks that I have here on the screen, definitely pay attention to those. Like I was saying earlier, these aren't really, I'm not doing like a how to go to a concert type thing the way a lot of YouTubers do, and I do recommend those because those are really chock full of valuable tips. These are just my personal tips, but definitely I hope those might help you for the London show. And I'm really excited. You're gonna have so much fun. It was the most fun I've ever had. And like I was saying earlier, kind of talking about the difference between that and PTDLA. PTDLA was very cathartic and emotional and high energy, and Jin's tour was just so fun. Like, it was just absolutely fun. And I hope the next time that I do a live stream, I'll get to hear all about those of you who are going to the London show and the Amsterdam show. And if anybody else is going to, Tampa or Newark, I would love to hear about your experiences. Sequoia, I hope so too. It is. I hope everybody who hasn't gotten a chance to go to a BTS concert or a BTS members concert yet, I really hope that you guys get the chance. You'll have the best time. It's such an experience. It's the experience of seeing them. It's the experience of being with ARMY. It's so much fun. I hope everybody, I'm sending good vibes out for everybody when we eventually get, hopefully, fingers crossed, that we hopefully get another BTS tour sooner rather than later, and that everybody who hasn't had a chance to go gets to finally go. Alrighty, so that's pretty much most of the highlights of the tour and the concerts, getting to see the concerts. It was, like I said, everybody that we encountered in Dallas, both ARMY and non-ARMY, were so nice. It was such a lovely time. The arena was in such a beautiful area of Dallas. I don't know if anybody who's watching this is from that area or has been to that area, but it was wonderful. I had a great time. My mom had a great time. We didn't want to leave. When we had to leave on Thursday, we were so sad. And our flight, like I said, was delayed by like 4 hours because of a tech issue in the plane. And the thing that made us the most sad was not that our flight was delayed. It was that we had left Dallas so early because, or I should say that section of Dallas, because originally our flight was going to leave at like 1 o'clock. So we had to leave pretty early so we could get through TSA and everything. And we're like, oh man, if we had known that our flight wasn't going to take off until like 4:30 in the afternoon, we could have stayed in that area longer. We were so sad to leave. It was such a great area, a great time. We had so much fun with Army and so much fun with Jin. And it was just so much fun. So like I said earlier, I'm kind of not super back yet because I do have a very jam-packed schedule. And I did miss a lot of things because of having the flu those 2 weeks and then, of course, prepping for the trip. So I know I have definitely missed a lot of stuff since I've been gone. We got that OT7 live. We've gotten so many things from different concerts and events. So I have missed a lot. But it's been good. We've definitely been well fed as Army. They've been doing a whole bunch of different Weverse lives and, a whole bunch of different things like that. So we've been well fed over these past few weeks that I've kind of been otherwise MIA. Also during that time period, we did have Army Day. And that is also the day that I launched my channel. So my channel is now officially 2 years old. I was actually going to do a live stream around that time, and that's when I got the flu. So I unfortunately couldn't do like any type of thing for my anniversary, but yay, my channel is 2 years old. Thank you all so much for enabling me to get to the 2-year mark and being here in these streams and watching my videos. I appreciate it so much. So thank you so much for that. I didn't want to let the occasion go by without thanking you all. So even though it was a couple weeks ago, I wanted to still say thank you. Thank you so much, Pandora Gold. I'm very glad. Thank you, Metaloop. I'm very happy. It's like I've said before, it hasn't been the most productive 2 years because I know I haven't gotten a lot of videos released, but it's been a very fun 2 years and it's been a very rewarding 2 years. So thank you all very, very much for the congratulations and for being here. So I am still working. Thank you, Sequoia. Thank you, Don't Feed the Bears. Thank you. You guys are great. I love you all so much. You all are fantastic. Thank you, T-Style. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a fun 2 years. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I so love making videos and doing these live streams and getting to know all of you guys. Oh, thank you, Don't Feed the Bears. Yeah, I try for quality. And I'm glad. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying the live streams. I'm having so much fun with them. It's such a fun way to just connect with you guys on like a very fun, casual level. I just love having these like fun casual chats with everybody. And sometimes they can be themed and sometimes they can just be casual chatting. And I just love that about them. I'm not sure when my next live stream will be just because my Sundays, I usually try and do them on Sundays. And my Sundays are just jam-packed between different events that are going on and work and things like that. So I will definitely let you guys know when the next live stream will be. And I am currently still working on my Welcome Home BTS vids. Obviously, they're a little bit late since the boys have been home for over a month now. But I still want to get those videos out to you guys. So I was in the process of working on them when I got the flu. So I haven't had a chance to record anything because, like I said earlier, I've spent like 2 weeks coughing. So obviously I wasn't going to record any scripts then. And as you can probably tell, my voice is a little bit dead from screaming at Jin's concerts. So I'm not fully back to normal voice yet, but as soon as I'm back to normal voice, I'll be recording a couple scripts, finishing a couple others, and hopefully I'll be getting these videos to you guys soon. Oh, thank you so much, Pandora Gold. That means a lot to me. I really am glad that you like the structure of everything. Thank you. Thank you, Metaloop. I appreciate that. You guys are always so nice and you add so many interesting things to my videos. Like, your comments are amazing. Your thoughts and questions and ideas are great. So it's like, I love being able to give you guys content so that we can have those great discussions because, all of you guys just add such amazing and clever commentary to everything too. So I definitely want to get those videos up so we can have those fun conversations together. In the meantime, is there anything else you guys wanted to discuss, since I know it has been so long since I've been on a live stream? Anything else that you guys have wanted to discuss or think about over these past couple of weeks that we haven't had a chance to discuss? Please let me know. Let me know if there's anything else that comes to mind while we're here. That's awesome, Meta Loop. Yeah, definitely don't forget any of your thoughts. I always you have great questions, so we can definitely always discuss any of those. Anything that comes to mind, I love talking about. Alrighty, well, I will start transitioning out of here and start saying goodbye to everybody. If you have any other questions or anything else you want to discuss, like I said, either about Jin's concerts or about anything like BTS related in general, since I've been away a little bit, let me know. But otherwise, we'll start transitioning out. It's been a lot of fun being able to talk with you guys about everything. I know it was a little bit scattered because I was just kind of going through things as they came to me and kind of just like wanted to show you guys pictures and things like that. But so if there's anything else that you wanted to know, please let me know. AK, any thoughts on all the nonsense going on at Hype? Yeah, this has been a crazy ongoing saga. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of the stuff, and I've even been a little bit out of the loop on some of the latest stuff because of being sick. But I follow a few channels, that kind of break everything down very, very well. And so I always kind of follow them for news updates. I know that and maybe this isn't accurate, but I feel like I remember seeing somebody say once that because of the way Hybe is structured, that big hit music is almost still kind of a little bit its own entity. So I'm hoping that BTS would be protected from the worst of it. But unfortunately, as we've seen with certain things in the past, we know that, other people can still try and attack them and their higher up structures. Luckily, though, I think with all of the boys out of the military now, I think we're a little bit stronger than we were when they were in the military. And I mean, obviously, we were still here. We were still Army. We were still taking care of them. But there was kind of a limited amount of things that we could do. And a limited amount of things that they could do as well. And I think now that they're back, I think, or at least I hope that maybe we can combat some of the nonsense that was going on during that time when they were away, because I feel like that was the time when haters and detractors and things thought that they could kind of try it on because they weren't really able to defend themselves. And I'm also hoping too that as we get new music and as we get a tour, that some of that nonsense kind of gets obliterated a little bit. And like I said earlier, the general public, it really does know about BTS now in a way that's very impressive. And I think that a lot of people, even if they themselves don't know BTS, aren't familiar with BTS, they have people in their lives who do know BTS. Like it's actually very funny. I still, of course, I think everybody can relate to this. I think we all still encounter people who look at us like we're crazy when we say we like BTS, but it's very funny. All of my coworkers know that I like BTS and like they knew I was going to see Jin. But when I told my one coworker that I also have plans to see a non-BTS related concert, that's when he looked at me like I was crazy. Not because I like BTS. He actually was like shocked that I was gonna go do something non-BTS related. He looked at me like, what? Who even are you? And it's just like, it's very funny to think that maybe for some people in our lives and some people we encounter, us being BTS fans is just, that's normal, and BTS is just a part of life and is just a part of pop culture. That's very interesting to think that maybe we can arrive at that place. Of course, we'll always still have the haters and the detractors and the people who don't get it, but it's kind of nice to think that us liking BTS is the normal thing. That's actually kind of fun. I like the idea that I've become, my coworkers know me so well as like, the army and the person who likes BTS that they've almost forgotten that I have other things that I like outside of BTS. They're like, what? You're doing a thing not related to BTS? Who are you? Which honestly, that's valid. Yep, Metaloop, you're so right. And that's something that I hope newer army also, I think unfortunately, depending on when newer army became army, they're kind of coming in during a very chaotic time. And I'm sad about that, but I think hopefully newer army can see why older army, army who have been fans for a while, why they're so protective of BTS, and they can also kind of join the movement and be like, yeah, I want to protect BTS too. They've given me so much, and they're so important to me, and I want to make sure that they can keep doing what they do. And I think that's something that everybody can be a part of. Anything else that you guys have been like thinking about over the past couple weeks while I haven't been around to? Oh, thank you very much, Metaloop. Thank you. And I'm very glad that I actually only had that one brief buffering issue. It looks like otherwise everything has been pretty good. The chat's been really nice and active, and nobody's said that like I dropped off or anything. So hooray! It looks like whatever that internet issue was actually relatively mild. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad that worked out. And I'm really glad you were all here today. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I know because it was a Friday rather than my usual Sunday, it was a little bit weird. I was worried that some people would be at work and I would miss you guys. But I'm really glad that you chose to spend part of your Friday with me, and that you got to be here while I got to share my experiences a little bit. All of this was still so fresh because, like I said, I literally just got home last night. So it's all still fresh in my mind, and it was really fun to be able to share with all of you and kind of answer some questions and share some stories. And everybody got to talk about their concert experiences too. It's a really fun, just kind of shared, even when we're going to different concerts, like some of you went to see J-Hope at Lollapalooza, and, some of you maybe saw Yoongi or older BTS concerts. And it's like, even though it's different, we're all still kind of share that experience. It's really fun. Yeah, it's nice too, the lives. I like when people can listen to the lives like podcast style. That's very fun. Ooh, yes, I do still want to do that. That's in my backlog, is to catch up on the BT21 videos that I haven't had a chance to see yet. So I definitely want to do that. That sounds great. Oh, you're so welcome. Don't feed the bears. I'm so glad. You're welcome, AK. Like I said, I'll let you guys know when my next live stream plans are, hopefully in a few weeks. And then, that'll probably just be like just another sort of like fun general chatting about BTS, kind of casually having fun. And any of you guys who had your own concert experiences can tell me how they went. So I really look forward to that. I'll let you guys know when we can do the next one. So hopefully I'll see you all there. And that will probably be on a Sunday like normal, hopefully, if I can schedule it and, around everything else. But I'll definitely let you guys know. Alrighty, so my voice is definitely between screaming for Jin and talking. My voice definitely is trying to give up on me here. So I'll start saying goodbye to everybody now, so you don't have to listen to me rasp and drink water anymore. But thank you all for being here. I had so much fun. I hope you guys did too, and I will see you around very, very soon. Have a great rest of your week. Take care. Thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. See you. Have a good one. If you're anybody who's going to the concerts, have fun, stay safe. If the heat is really bad where you are, stay healthy, drink water. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye. Bye, Don't Feed the Bears, Meta Loop, Enthused Beast, T-Style, Sequoia, Pandora Gold. So good to see you all. See you later. I'll see you guys again really, really soon.